What's up, YouTube? CopperPitch back here again for another Meta Monday, where we're going to take a look at the top ranked decks of the week in Gods Unchained. So far this weekend ranked, it is not quite done yet, but leading the pack, we have teammates Mythic, Revan, and Dragonstorm. Both played the exact same light deck. So we're going to take a look at this light deck that came in first and second place here. And light, no surprise, is back on top. Heal was nerfed, but Heaven's Light is still a really powerful one-cost god power. You can continuously smash this thing every single turn, give all of your opponent's creatures strength 1 eventually by using this enough. And then you have all kinds of synergy in light decks. Onyx Nightblade, as you lower your opponent's creatures down to 1 strength. With Heaven's Light, you can then just kill them with Onyx Nightblade. I actually prefer 2x Onyx Nightblades in this deck for that reason. It just synergizes so well with Heaven's Light. It is a dead card in some cases if your opponent is only playing massive creatures, like maybe Nature. But even a 3 strength creature can be lowered down to 1 in 2 turns and then killed. So I prefer 2x Onyx Nightblades. Maybe you don't even see one if you only are running 1. And you're always going to find use for at least 1. You've got Ritual Rod and Cudgel of Atonement. So they chose to go with all of the 1-cost relics here and not use the very traditional Golden Harp 3-mana relic that everyone runs in light. And by doing so, they give themselves 4 durability between the cudgels and another 6 durability with the Ritual Rods. So they're guaranteeing themselves 10 turns here of doing 2 damage every single turn. And this synergizes extremely well with Master of Indulgences, who has 2 health and effectively gives any other creature 2 health, even if they have Ward. So at any point in time, if your opponent has a creature that drops that's like a 5/5 with Frontline or something, you can just Master of Indulgence the 5/5. The Master of Indulgence then becomes a 2/5. The opponent's 5/5 becomes a 5/2, and then you smash it with one of your many relics you're running here. Canonize is standard in these light decks. At any point, you can just drop +3/+3, do a whole bunch of damage, and it gives protected as well, so you can just take something big out, even if you only start with a little creature on board. So you got to make sure you're clearing those creatures if you're playing against Heaven's Light decks, because Canonize will be coming. The Highborn Knights are just ridiculous with the Frontline, protected, and Ward. Light's Levy, again, synergizes extremely well with Heaven's Light. If you have a creature that's 3 or 4 strength in just a turn or 2, this can immediately be stolen with Light's Levy. We've got the Odysseus here, which is pretty standard in the Golden Harp decks and Heal decks. Here it feels a little out of place to me, but you have like the Reflection Elementalist, which can take one of these 3/1/1s that Odysseus spits out, and you can just Reflection Elementalist it. So then you have suddenly 2 3/4s with Ward. You can also use the Reflection Elementalist on a Pyramid Warden if your Pyramid Warden's about to die. Rather than give your opponent something back from their Void, you can just go ahead and transform it into a Reflection Elementalist. And then they have the top end here. We've got Griffith, who's very standard here. If your opponent has a bunch of big creatures out, you basically effectively kill them all. They all survive, but they all become worthless. And then Helia is very nice. Trial of the Gods, legendary. You can buff everything and give it Ward. And then, of course, the Ashen Drakes. The only other thing I would say that I would change with this deck is the Bronze Servant. It's hard to run a relic removal creature that only removes 2 durability. There's probably a big debate here about whether it's worth running them or not. I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. But my opinion is this: if you're gonna run it, it needs to be better than the Bronze Servant, because it only removes 2 durability. So, and you're only running 1, which means either you find it in time to remove your opponent's weapon or you don't. And if you find it in time, you have to just hold it and hope that they have a relic. And if they don't have a relic, then you're just holding a card for no reason. And if they've already played the relic and already used it, now you just drew a card for no reason. So you have to, the only time that this works is if you draw the card, are holding it, your opponent plays their relic, and it has 2 durability or less, which a lot of these infinite durability relics, like Selena's Bow specifically, it's played a lot, Palace's Wand, Valka's Axe, there's a bunch of them, but they're gonna often have more than 2 durability. So removing 2 just isn't enough to justify holding this card in your hand the entire game, hoping your opponent plays a relic that this can actually remove, which is basically limited to Jaguar Staff and Skull Scepter. But Skull Scepter is not as prevalent. I don't think it's worth it here. I would take out the Bronze Servant, throw in another Olympian Guard, which is a great turn 1. And then again, I would also take out the Netherborn Binder and probably put in maybe another Onyx Nightblade. I'd have to think about that one. But for sure, I just don't like the Bronze Servant. There's not enough good relic removal creatures outside of nature. But maybe an Iron-Tooth Goblin would work here better than a Bronze Servant, as the Iron-Tooth Goblin removes 3 durability, which puts you closer to the range that these infinite durability relics will have. And so those are my opinions on the changes I would make. Let's take it for a spin and see how it goes. Alright, so we're playing against Magic here. Wow, we do not need 2 Ashen Drakes. We don't need 2 Cudgels either. Oh god, this is a bad starting hand. So going back to the point about the Bronze Servant,
I cannot lose.
I played 2 games before this. And in the first game, I got rid of the Bronze Servant, and then it came back immediately into my starting hand. And then I had to just hold it and hope that he played a Relic. Eventually, I had to just play it. It was junking up my hand. I had nothing else to play. And then eventually, he never played a Relic. So it was a waste. I ended up losing that game. Then I played another game where my opponent got Palace's Wand, and it was just infinite, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Most of the time it had 3 or 4 durability. In the turns where it had 1 or 2, I never found my Bronze Servant. So I still don't know if it's worth keeping in this deck. Relic removal is definitely problematic in this game right now. Either run it, and maybe your opponent doesn't run a Relic, and the creatures are subpar except for nature that actually can remove. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. If everybody stops running Relic hate, though, there will be lots of Relics. I can tell you that much. Alright, let's play Jason. It's a little early, but I mean, it's hard to pass up a beautiful Echo like that, but I don't think we're going to be playing that deep. Oof. I don't really want any of these, but a lot of options for 9-drops. I'm going to go with Neferu.
I'm running out of time.
I constantly want to have a Relic equipped, so we still have 2 more Relics coming at some point. So far we have absolutely no targets for our God Power, which is bad. But this Pyramid Warden's going to look pretty nice, because the only thing he's got is a bunch of 1/1s.
It is but a test of conviction.
It's almost like he built this deck to be an anti-Heaven's Light deck. Only have
That's
one
enough
once.
for now.
Now, another point about Relic hate is that there's a bunch in the Sanctum. Of course, you can't guarantee that it's there.
Time to act.
But when you think you might need it, you can buy it. Like if you're up against Nature and they might be playing a Jagstaff, there's both the Bronze Servant and the Nefarious Briar are both in the Sanctum. Kind of doubting that he's going to play many big creatures so far, so that was a mistake. I should have lowered his attack first. I could have been back to 30 health. I have 1 extra mana. Not doing anything with it. I'll grab this. He's been playing a lot of 1/1s. Let's see if the trend continues. So he just put everything into perfect Astric Implosion range. All we could do is cross our fingers.
My personal space beyond all else.
Pray that he doesn't bag and then play Astric Implosion.
My turn.
Okay.
Such a petty existence.
So of course Magic can easily ping Ward. So this shard won't really be helpful until later. He really is playing a lot of 1/1s. But if we can keep him wasting his spells on top of pinging, that will be good for us in the long run. So he just played this, didn't remove a relic. So if I play Reflection Elementalist, this does not continue to show up in my deck, which could be a good thing, quite frankly. I don't know if we need this constantly showing up. I think maybe we just clear the board here, though. Still really tempted to play this, though. Unfortunately, he can just ping Ward away from both of my Reflection Elementalists. We do have other options here. I think I am going to play this. Enables me to go face and lower this down here. Give me more options for Reflection Elementalist. Gets us to the Ashen Drake. Gives me a target for the Ashen Drake. What is up with these 1/1s?
Honor guides me.
Gonna go ahead and
The audacity.
Ashen Drake everything. And you can see more Relic hate showed up in the Sanctum. Don't really anticipate him playing anything.
The cosmic scales must be kept in balance. waste of mana.
Oh, look. A bronze servant. Cool. If this costs 2 mana, I would transform it. If this costs 2 mana, if this was an Iron Tooth Goblin, I would transform it. I think Iron Tooth Goblin is just better than Bronze Servant.
Onward.
Let's remove 6 durability from a relic. Give me a lot of options for this. This looks pretty. It's a shame I won't get to use it, but it's going to make a great thumbnail. Let's do a thumbnail pose. Okay. That is now a great reflection elementalist target. So make sure I hit with it first.
That's enough for now.
So he's 1 turn away from 8, which he could have like a fray. Nope.
Blessed.
So that's this Heaven's Light deck. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. Let me know what you think about the whole relic conversation. Do we use them? Do we not use them? Do we need to tweak this? Do they need to be more effective? If they're more effective, then will no one play relics? It's a great question. Well, that's going to do it for this week. I will see you guys again next week for another Meta Monday. With